What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, we discuss all things culture and politics, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Ace family. Yes, I'm sure if you are part of my core audience, you are sitting there and asking me, Cherry, who the hell is the Ace family? Well, we're going to be getting into all of that, but before we do, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. You don't have to, but you should. Be sure to follow my TikTok and other social medias in the description down below. And if you want to support my work, you can donate via a super thanks or subscribe to my subscriptions for as low as $5 a month. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into the mess, shall we? And this is a really messy one. So if you are unfamiliar with the Ace family, well, let me introduce you to them. The Ace family was a very popular family vlogger style channel here on YouTube that blew up in the early 2020s. Obviously, they were inspirational to millions of people who watched their content as they gleamed and boasted this very luxurious lifestyle. But at the root of it all, they showcased their kids a lot on their channel. And of course, the relationship between Austin and Catherine. Let's quickly review the key players here. We have the primary clown show, Austin Mcbroom, who was the husband of the family, and, you know, he was known to be kind of goofy and wild and just, you know, all around kind of like a clown type character, but still very charismatic and lovable. And then, of course, you have Catherine, who was the wife and mother in the whole situation, obviously beautiful, very poised, very classy. And then, of course, they had their 3 kids. For years, this family posted videos upon videos every week of their lifestyle and their family just doing their thing. They climbed their way up from, you know, humble apartments to luxurious houses, and they brought their family with them along the way. And while it may have seemed aspirational when you're looking at all of this footage, what was really going on behind the scenes was a lot less family friendly, if you will. And that's what we're gonna get into today. So, long story short, the Ace family ends up splitting up. I think maybe even just a year ago, Catherine and Austin announced that they would be divorcing and going their separate ways. This came after years and years of rumors of Austin cheating on Catherine, of Austin blowing all of their money on frivolous events and luxuries to show off on camera and sell their viewers this lifestyle that seemed, you know, so flashy and unattainable. So finally, they had called it quits. They didn't really give us much information at first. We kind of just were left to put the puzzle together ourselves, and I don't think it was very hard considering all these rumors that have been floating around and confirmed by other YouTubers for years, but that's the short end of it. Now, I'm not here to give you a deep dive on the Ace family today, okay? I'm here to talk about Catherine Mcbroom, aka Catherine Mcbroom, going on Call Her Daddy this week. This episode has caused a lot of conversation all over the internet, and of course I had to put my 2 cents into it. So I figured we could just take a look at a couple of the trending clips that are going around on the internet and break it down, because for those new here, hi, we usually talk about controversial things on this channel. And I think my take in all of this Ace family drama is going to be much different than what you're used to watching. Right off the bat, we already know that Austin Mcbroom was a clown. Like, I'm not here to enlighten you on that. I think we all already know that. But what Catherine talks about in this interview really shines a light on a lot of the problems that we as an American society are suffering from in modernity. How do you say that? Modernity? So let's just dive right into it.
It was also rumored that Austin would hire nannies so he could sleep with them when you weren't around. Do you know if this is true?
No, we never had a nanny.
Did you ever get confirmation if the infamous yacht orgy happened?
Yes, I actually did.
How did you get confirmation?
Mind you, we're talking about a family-friendly channel here, okay?
Through a friend who's married to a guy that was physically there. Years later.
Did Austin really bring his mistress to a charity event you guys threw together at the Staples Center?
Yeah, so there was this girl, the girl that I was talking about earlier, the one with the long text, so that was her.
Austin has completely denied it, said he would have never brought a girl there, that never happened. Like, what do you say to that?
To me, it's like, why lie about that? But now I know, like, you can lie about a lot of things that aren't true. Austin, you could have handled that differently. It did happen. And that's where I found out all the lies. So like that moment was a significant moment in my life. So of course I'm going to talk about it if that was life-changing for me. I got confirmation from one of his family members saying, I told him not to bring that girl and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking like, what, you knew too? I'm just being blindsided over here. Like I had no idea. Like truly, like, yeah, I've been seeing the rumors. Why can't you tell me? Like, why don't you talk to me?
Yeah, disgusting. Disgusting, degenerate behavior. Mind you, the entire reason that this family is famous and the entire reason that Austin Mcbroom even had access to a yacht, let alone a yacht party offering orgies, is because he has fame and money and access from his family channel on YouTube. And that leads us into the most important point of this video, all right? Ladies, who you marry is the most important decision you will ever make in your life. Obviously, for so many reasons. So many of us have been in relationships like Catherine, where you fall in love with the potential of a man, but he ends up leading you to hell. While in the beginning, Austin led Catherine and their family to amazing things, it was his idea to do the YouTube channel. He himself does have a really good persona for the camera, and he combined with Catherine and their family were able to make a really good life for themselves. They had fame, they had money, they had luxury, they had family. He also led them into the depths of hell because at his core, Austin Mcbroom is a narcissistic, prideful, arrogant asshole. It's always about him. And again, that's why he even had the ability to cheat on his wife, who, mind you, is beautiful, poised, classy, elegant, loyal, faithful. Like, he literally had it all. And he threw it away because he could. So ladies, when you are choosing to marry a man, inadvertently, you are choosing to let a man lead you and your family. That is just the way it works in marriage. Women try to fight this in modernity. Why can't I say that word? Women try to fight that dynamic in modern times, but naturally we tend to fall into our roles anyways. So there's really no point in fighting it. But when you pick a bad guy, he's gonna lead you to this whole mess that we're about to look at. I mean, please imagine you are doing all this. You're literally bringing a mistress to a basketball event that you were able to put on because of your family and your success on YouTube because of your family, and you bring a mistress. Yeah, the red pill bros still don't understand why women are suspect of men in 2025. Yeah, that's why. A man could literally have it all. A beautiful, loyal, faithful wife, beautiful children, and will still throw it away just because he has the opportunity to. So if you glean anything from the rest of this video and you're a female watching this, you need to look for these signs early on in your relationship before you enter into a marriage. You just have to. I think a lot of us can relate to Catherine in that sense because we have followed a man and he did make very poor decisions and lead us into bad situations. Unfortunately for Catherine, she ended up marrying this man. So now she's got a lot more that she has to deal with in the aftermath, whereas I think a lot of other women learn this lesson with a guy that was just a relationship or a situationship. It is so important to pick a man with integrity to marry. When you marry a man, you're basically saying, I'm going to let you lead this family. I'm going to let you lead me. Don't mess it up. And that's exactly what Austin did. Let's see what else Catherine had to say.
Austin recently tried to justify all of his cheating by saying you guys weren't having sex. What was your sex life like?
Sex, intimacy is very, very sacred to me. When I found out that there was cheating, I checked out. My body is a temple, and I refuse to allow anybody to come near my temple if he cannot be honest and truthful and loyal. It is true. And I wrote it in the book. I put the same exact, put 4 years. It was 4 years. It was actually more like 5 years if you think about it, of not being intimate with him. I was going through a lot of postpartum, your body changes, you're breastfeeding and you're taking care of multiple children. And so I found out he was cheating on me, and that was it. That was a never, ever, never again.
And did he pursue you at all? Like, did he try?
No. And that's how I knew that there was cheating going on. Even when we would kiss, or it was a disconnection. And I thought, this isn't my husband.
I think there is a lot to unpack here, obviously. First and foremost, respect. Respect to Catherine. That is a stand-up woman right there. That is a woman who knows her worth, who respects her body. And Austin should be so lucky to have a woman like that. We hear all the time from men nowadays that apparently this is all they want. All they want is a loyal woman who isn't running around and sleeping with tons of guys and has a high body count. They want a woman who wants to have kids and have a family. But then they go and they get all that. Mind you, she's beautiful. And yet they go and they throw it all away for 15 minutes of validation. Many people would argue, well, he wouldn't cheat if she would just put out. But this is the problem. This is the problem with modern men. The reason she stopped putting out is because he cheated. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, okay? We're not here to argue about fucking exceptions, okay? But generally, it used to be that when you got married, you were committing yourself to your partner. Cheating used to be very frowned upon. I mean, of course it still is. Not like it used to be. It used to be very frowned upon, unacceptable. I mean, you really had to understand what you were doing before you did it. Because the social suicide that came along with cheating and splitting up a family was intense. Nowadays, it's just so normalized, and hookup culture is so normalized, and these very egregious sexual acts have become so normalized thanks to porn that we see situations like what is happening with the Ace family all the time nowadays. I obviously argue that because God has been removed from American society, we no longer have morals and standards in place. It gives people a lot more credence to be degenerate and run around and hurt people like their wives and their children. But I do think it's really important to have this conversation, because if you're on the internet at all, if you have even stepped a toe into the red pill manosphere world, you know this is a very common topic of conversation over there. It's okay to cheat if my wife doesn't put out. Like, yes and no. Obviously, when you get married, there are some things that you are committing to do, right? Sexual relations is one of those things that you're committing to do. But oftentimes, as we know, women stop engaging in that when something isn't right in the relationship. And clearly, as we see here with Catherine, Austin went on his Snapchat story and tried to act like the reason he cheated on her so many times, like over 20 times in their marriage, was because she wasn't putting out. But that's not the case. As we just saw, we heard it from her. The reason she stopped doing that is because he cheated. And I just don't know why so many modern men think that they get to have it all. That is the root of the problem here. I just don't see an argument that Catherine was really in the wrong here, other than she does speak on later in the interview her inability to communicate properly. That is obviously a big component here, but there is no situation where cheating is ever okay. We can understand why someone might cheat, what leads them to get there, what they're thinking mentally, but there's still just no situation when it's ever okay. Just because there's context, it doesn't make it okay that you did that. When you get married, you are making a commitment to the other person to be loyal and faithful to them no matter what. And truthfully, if you don't feel that you can do that, you shouldn't get married, first off. But if you find yourself in a marriage some way, and you are feeling an inclination to cheat, if you really can't, just put it all out on the table and say, listen, my needs aren't being met, I'm gonna leave. You're a coward, okay? And unfortunately, we are in a day and age of cowards, especially upon young men. This Ace family situation really displays that, unfortunately. As much as I believe modern women need to start taking accountability for some of the actions that they generally display, men need to do the same thing. Men also need to understand that the most important decision you'll ever make in your life is who you marry. And if you are somebody who has certain needs, you should be vetting that out before you're proposing to a woman to spend the rest of your life with and claim that you're going to be loyal to. You have to think about these things before just rushing into marriage. So these are all just things that, because marriage has become so symbolic, people just don't think about. And unfortunately, this family has 3 kids that are now going to suffer because these 2 couldn't make it work. It's mostly at the hands of Austin Mcbroom because he's a bit of a psychopath. But I do think there's lessons that we can glean for the general public that aren't psychopaths. So let's take a look at a couple other things from Catherine's testimony on Call Her Daddy.
In the book, you write that Austin made a lot of financial decisions without asking you, that it was so extreme you would check your bank accounts and see 6 figures missing. Where was all the money going? What was he spending it on?
There was moments where, I'd see some money coming out and it was, to pay this, pay that. And it was like, I didn't feel like I was having that that partner, that husband and wife conversation about our finances. And it would be heartbreaking to look at the bank because I was very well aware of what was in there. And it's like, where did that go? Like, what's happening?
Did you ever go to him and be like, Austin, I feel a little bit in the dark here. Like, we need to have...
Yeah, for sure.
And how did he react when you would bring that up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want you to worry. And that's not what a marriage is about. A marriage is about talking about these very deep things that really affect like our children and our future. And like, when you make certain investments, the goal is to at least make your money back. That was really stressful for me. That really caused a lot of stress and strain in our relationship.
And that, folks, is called financial infidelity. When you enter into a marriage, you are promising the other that you will be open and honest about your finances. You don't make big financial decisions without consulting the partner in it. Ultimately, in a traditional view of marriage, the man does have the final say, and he does have the final say when it comes to money. And again, this is why I stress that it is so important when you decide to get married to a man that you pick a man of integrity, because he is the one who's going to make these final decisions in a lot of situations. Again, he's the one who's going to lead you. So in this really tragic case here with Catherine and Austin Mcbroom, we see time and time again how Austin Mcbroom led that family into hell. He led Catherine into hell emotionally. He led her into hell by cheating on her and doing it publicly and playing in her face. He led Catherine and their family into hell financially by making these ridiculous financial decisions, all so that he could feel like he was somebody. So he could feel like he was this big celebrity. Austin and the Ace family are famous for their failed events. Like, they had one good event. It was like a basketball charity thing. And then from there, it went all downhill. They did like a fair, like a county fair that was supposed to be like Coachella, and literally ended up being like your local carnival. They did many different, they tried to do an app. She tried to do a skincare line. And all of these things were just financial losses, major losses. And all of it was, again, at the hands of Austin. He's the one who made these decisions, as she just said, without consulting her. So he led their family into financial disarray for no reason, okay? He has led his children to hell by embarrassing them all over the internet. Austin has done some very questionable things on the internet for clout that will have detrimental effects on his children. The worst of them being what he's done to his wife. How do you think that his children are going to feel when they get a little bit older and are on the internet and have to see this interview with their mom about how their dad did her so dirty? Don't you think that his kids are going to feel embarrassed seeing that their dad cheated on their mom on yacht party orgies?
It's super gay.
This man led his family into the depths of hell. And it just goes to show why you really, really, really need to think about who you are marrying, who you are allowing power to. I mean, this is tragic. Remember this. Remember this tale when you decide to get married.
We were filming this thing called Vlogmas on YouTube. People film every day for the month of December. And I was, at that point, I was like about 3 months pregnant with my son. We start filming. And we go to this studio to get my daughter's first haircut. She was a year old, just getting her first haircut. Our assistant, who was Austin's friend from back in the day, was there. It was Austin and myself and our daughter. We're there filming. He's filming our daughter's first haircut. And I'm kind of like, I'm taking photos for myself for my phone, like, oh my gosh, like taking the photo. And then like a movie, my phone dies. And I look at him without a thought and I go, give me your phone. Let me take a photo. Cause we're going to miss the moment. She's getting her first haircut. As soon as my hand grabs that phone, mind you, I had never looked in his phone. As soon as I grabbed the phone, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And I like my brain scanned it, but I wasn't able to read it fully. But in that moment, my heart drops. I'm pregnant. There's people watching us. The camera's on. It felt like, it just felt surreal. He grabs the phone from me and instantly deletes the message.
I can't understand this situation. Like, you have a beautiful, beautiful woman. some would even call her a baddie, okay? Especially like back then, like Catherine dated Michael B. Jordan. Bruh. It's hard to understand all of this, right? Like you have a woman who is beautiful. She's clearly like super involved with your children. Like she wants to have your kids and then she's super involved with them. Like all she wants to do is take a picture of your daughter's first haircut. That is so wholesome. I can't. She wants to do it all with you. She's a hustler like you. She's down to sacrifice and help grind so that you guys can have a good life. And you play in her face and cheat on her with like 2-cent whores. I just don't get it. While you guys know I have a lot of criticisms for the modern woman, I don't think we focus enough on how modern men are also failing modern women. The red pill sphere will try to tell you that if you're a woman and you're all these things, if you're beautiful, hot, skinny, and you want to have a family and kids and be involved and you're loyal, like that's all you have to do, right? Just don't have a high body count and do all those things and like you'll attract a good man. It's all our fault that we can't get married and have good marriages with good men. It's all the woman's fault, right? Because we're all just whores and we're all like, I don't know, feminist girl bosses, but like that's not the case. Okay, that's not always the case. In fact, it's not the case a lot of the time. There are so many situations like this situation with the Ace family that happen every day where a woman literally has it all, but a man has a fucking ego and it ruins it all. We need to have a real conversation here about how men in this day and age are not men. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Like they want it all. These people are going to the ends of the earth to try and justify their poor behavior. They will do anything to justify why it's okay for them to cheat on their pregnant wife. Mind you, Austin cheated on his wife, Catherine, when she was pregnant. Okay, so these men don't understand that just because you have a natural proclivity to something doesn't mean that you do it. It doesn't mean that it's right. They like to make the argument that, well, men cheat. It's just how we're wired. We're wired to want to cheat. And I'm wired to want to do drugs every day of my life. That doesn't mean that I do them. I was a homeless drug addict. I was as deep of an addict as they come. Does that mean because I have a natural proclivity to want to do drugs that I should just do them until I die? Bruh. An overdose? That's not how life works. Have some self-control and be a real man. These red pill bros, they want the title of like being a man and being a husband, but they don't want to actually like do the things that requires them to be a man and be a husband. We have just fallen down this rabbit hole of criticizing women when women are only half of the equation here. There are men on the internet. There is a subsect of the internet that will try to say that Austin was right. Next.
When did you know this marriage was completely over and how did you go about telling him?
There was a conversation that we had right before he had this big boxing match. And the night before, we were in the living room and, you know, the lights were down, the kids were sleeping. And I said, I'm not happy. And he's like, why are you talking about this now? Why are you doing this now? I have a fight tomorrow. Like, can't you just be a little bit more sympathetic to, you know? And I was like, but I had to say it right now. I'm really not happy. Like, I genuinely don't feel good, Austin. Yeah. Something doesn't feel right. And then the next day, he got really sick right before his fight. He had 103 fever. It felt like a message. It didn't feel like he just randomly got sick. No one else got sick but Austin. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? I was like, you can't fight. He's like, no, I have to. Like, I can't not. What happened that night in the fight, it was like a mirror of what's going on in our internal life. I went out into the floor, you know, we're all watching them on the ring. The first time he got knocked down, I thought, oh my God, this is the first time I've ever seen my husband crumble. Got knocked down, it was the second one, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then a fifth, and he just kept standing up. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, this is who he is. He always stands up when he falls. And then the next day, he was feeling better, and I grabbed his hand and I posted a picture of us holding hands. And I was so ready to let go the day before. And I was like telling the world, I'm still here for him. And it was like this moment of like, yes, we are not romantically together in that way, but I still respect him as the father of my children. And it was like that kind of energy. So then it was almost like I was okay being in the relationship as like, I'm here, we're a team. Mm-hmm. But it was like we were not a team. Mm-hmm. You were still lying to me.
Damn. Are you really a good father if you're cheating on your pregnant wife? That's just my take on it, but you have to respect Catherine. I mean, this woman tried. She tried so hard. She tried to be his like #1 fan. She tried to be a partner in all of this, and he just didn't want it. what can make a man really great can also be his downfall. Like a man's desire to be respected and admired and accomplished and successful can also be his downfall because, as we know, Austin Mcbroom really put a lot of things before their marriage and their family. He should have never had this fight. If you know the history of this fight, I think it was with KSI. He should have never done this fight. It was an event that just lost money. I mean, he's clearly getting sick. Like, he just should have never done it. But his ego got the best of him. And that's what happens to a lot of great men. Their desire to perform and be successful gets the best of them. And through it all, he has this beautiful woman, this dedicated, loyal woman who is still standing beside him after everything he's done to her. She's still trying to be by his side. And I just think that this in general is a cautionary tale that you really need to understand who you are getting married to, both men and women. You really need to make sure that you are aligned on your morals and your values and your standards, because if you're not, you're going to get walked all over. I don't think it's a lot to just ask that your husband be faithful to you and lead you in a good direction. It's just crazy to me because Catherine embodies all of the things that men say they want in a woman. I think I have one more clip to dissect here and then we're going to call it a day. So let's take a look.
When did you tell him you wanted a divorce?
I turned 33. I was talking to my dad and I was like, hey, I really want to go to this retreat in Brazil. He was like, I want to go with you. And I was like, perfect. Like me, you, and Ryan will go to this retreat, you know? And I booked my flight on my birthday. In that moment, you know, Austin and I, it was done. We didn't put the wheels in motion to officially divorce and separate, but it was there. So I went on the retreat. I had this massive, expansive experience. And then when I came back, I landed back into LA. He picked me up. I got in the car and he looked over. He said, oh, how was it? And I was like, good. And in my head, I'm thinking like, he doesn't understand where I just went, what I just did, how, like, he doesn't understand. And I thought that's okay. We're different places vibrationally now. We're literally driving out of the airport. And I said, Austin, I need to talk to you. It's like, hey, yeah, what's up? I was like, it's not a secret that our relationship is done and we're both unhappy. You know, I've been unhappy for a long time. I know you've been unhappy for a long time. And I want a divorce. He's driving. Okay. It's like, okay. I was like, oh my gosh. All right. Well, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I was like, you know, I'm on your team and I love you and I want to do this right. And, you know, it doesn't have to get ugly. I pray I don't want it to get ugly. And it was just kind of like, okay, like, we're going to do this.
Typical narcissist. And unfortunately, I think Catherine left later than she needed to, but I'm glad that she ultimately put herself and her children and her family first. Please, 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 please know who you are marrying. Please consider who they really are before you put that damn ring on your finger. Just because a man has good qualities and you fall in love with his potential, it's not enough. It's just not enough. We all have like a pivotal experience with a man who leads us to hell, but you can't marry that. A lot of the consequence of this interview and of the situation with the Ace family online has been women just coming out and saying, you know, listen to Shira 7, listen to all of these female gurus who say that love is a transaction, play like a man. Don't stop. Stop. Don't do that. That is not how we evolve as a species. Stop right there. Okay. There's other ways to avoid this situation than playing the game and acting like a man. I promise you, it's best for you that you don't do that. And that is all I really have for you guys today. What the fuck? Perfect timing because my light died. Please make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, what do you think of all of this? Have any of you guys kept up with the Ace family? Are you like hip to this whole thing? What do you think about Austin? What do you think about Catherine? I am dying to know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And remember, God bless you and God bless the USA. I'll see you guys in another one soon. Bye.